Amidst the crisis in the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi, trouble mounts for Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut, who's been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. The agency wants to question him tomorrow. Talking about the summons, Raut said that he was expecting it and will appear before the ED tomorrow. Raut had plans to travel to Alibag, he says, to attend a public meet. But the summons are, remember, in connection with the Patra Chaul land scam case and 34,000 crore DHFL scam. The investigative agency has also found links to payments that were allegedly made to close aides of Raut in connection with this DHFL scam. Raut has called all of it a conspiracy.
मुझे रोकने के लिए, शिवसेना को रोकने के लिए कुछ लोग इकट्ठा आएंगे महाराष्ट्र के खिलाफ और मुझे और मेरे कोई साथी हुए उनको तकलीफ देंगे। मैं बाला साहब ठाकरे जी की जो शिवसेना है उनके साथ खड़ा रहूँगा और उनकी साख बचाने के लिए आखिरी सांस तक मैं लड़ता रहूँगा, चाहे मुझे आप गोली मार दो या मुझे जेल डालो। कल मेरी अलीबाग में सभा है और भी सभाएं मैंने शेड्यूल की है पार्टी की तरफ से। उसके बाद मैं ईडी से टाइम ले लूँगा, लेकिन ज़रूर मैं ईडी के दफ्तर में जाऊँगा और जो कानूनी प्रक्रिया है उनके सामने जाऊँगा। मैं भागने वाला नहीं हूँ।
Do you see this government falling A, and do you see this as Operation Lotus B?
Well, it is not hidden that BJP is behind the whole episode, because the kind of help that they got from Surat and how they were taken to Guwahati, all that shows, and the aircrafts that were used and who is paying their bills and stuffs like this. It is it's very clear that BJP is behind all this, and apparently there is no harm in calling it Operation Lotus. It is all illogical, and it is politicization of every agency that is there with the central government, and that's not right for the democracy of this country.
One last question. Reports just coming in that Sanjay Raut has now been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate.
Absolutely. They are trying to pressurize him. They are trying to put, they have put two of our colleagues behind bars. They were not allowed to vote, and they have been trying to pressurize this government ever since Mahavikas Aghadi was formed.
My colleague Siddhant also continues to be with us. He's been tracking the latest. So, Sanjay Raut, Siddhant, came out earlier today, of course, and, gave a very defiant statement talking about how there's a larger conspiracy, of course, to make the Shiv Sena subvertant and, basically to get them to fall in line, quote unquote, with the BJP using the agencies, etc. What did he say, though, about his own, the charges that he's facing in both of these cases that have come to light?
Well, you remember this is an ongoing investigation, and in fact, if you remember, almost 2 months back, there was this investigation, and Mr. Raut was summoned also. And you remember, Mr. Raut insisted Sharad Pawar to go and meet Prime Minister and tell him not to make agency go after him. And in fact, Sharad Pawar did meet Prime Minister and complain about the ED's investigation. At that time, that investigation was paused for a couple of days. Now, again, he has been summoned in two ongoing investigations. This is what ED is telling us. One is the money which was allegedly received through SBIL DHFL owner to his family members, and the other one is the ongoing investigation in Patra Chaul case. So in these two cases, he has been summoned and he is being asked to appear before agency tomorrow. Now, this summons is happening at a time when already, the government of Maharashtra is in crisis, and Mr. Sanjay Raut is going door to door to save his government, taking public meetings, is speaking to media and exposing the Shinde camp MLAs. Now, this is happening at such a time that now Shiv Sena and the other Aghadi partners are attacking the Bharatiya Janata Party for orchestrating this summons, for calling him at this time so that he cannot work for the party, he cannot save the party. Already few loyalists are remaining with Uddhav Thackeray. if those loyalists will also go behind bars, or for that matter appear before the ED on summons,
Right.
then who will work for the party and who will do public meetings for the party? So that is a major question, and this is a reason that in fact Mr. Raut is not to appear before ED tomorrow. His legal team is going to sought more time because he has one pending public meeting, a scheduled public meeting in Alibag tomorrow. So he's going to go there and speak on his party's behalf.
All right. I want to go across to my colleague Ashish Mehrishi also, who tracks the agencies very closely. For the details as far as these two cases that Mr. Raut is embroiled in is concerned, Ashish, exactly what are the charges against him, or what is the role that the investigative agencies want to quiz him on?
So there are two cases which the Enforcement Directorate is basically looking at. One is the one related to Patra Chaul, which is basically, where certain houses were supposed to be constructed by a company named Guru Ashish, which is owned or the shareholding as well as the directorship was with one of the close aides of Sanjay Raut. His name is Praveen Raut. And the allegation basically is that there was around 672 tenants in Patra Chaul who were supposed to be given land. They were supposed to be given houses after reconstruction. And then certain portion of the land was supposed to be sold to certain private developers.
Right.
But here, the construction never happened. And, the land was basically sold to certain private developers and they collected around 901 odd crore rupees, which actually meant that around 672 tenants, they remained displaced. So that is what the case is ultimately.
Okay.
Recently, they have found certain evidence where people close aides, people who have been very close to Sanjay Raut.
Okay.
They have
Ashish,
been
we'll leave it at
beneficial.
that.